In this video, we'll look at 2 4-mark questions from Paper 1 Business. The last question we will look at in this video is slightly tricky, but we'll talk it through. And these questions are from the 2022 paper. Do feel free to grab a pen and a piece of paper and answer the questions with me. Our first question is an explain question, and it reads as follows. Explain one way in which product orientation is important to Rolex. Now, if you do want tips on how to answer the 4-mark questions, then do check out this video. I will put the link to it in the description box. Now, it's important to read the question properly first and then read the case studies. Do not ignore the case studies. The question is asking us to explain one way, so only one way, in which product orientation is important to Rolex. With product orientation, the belief is that if a company creates a high quality or innovative product, then customers will be naturally drawn to it. And let's take a look at the case study. Extract C. Hans Wilsdorf, the entrepreneur behind Rolex. When Hans Wilsdorf was born in 1881, wristwatches were mostly regarded as women's jewelry. No one believed it possible to make watches men would want. Aged 24, and despite the lack of support from his peers, he decided to take a risk and began his plan to deliver a modern watch aimed at the male market. Wilsdorf described how, while riding on the upper deck of a horse-drawn bus in the city of London, a genie whispered, "Rolex," in my ear. Rolex is a short word, easy to pronounce in every language, and easy to remember. Rolex had style and authority and looked clear on a watch face. Within days, Wilsdorf had registered the trademark. Rolex's reputation grew, and in 1919 it set up operations in Geneva, Switzerland. Wilsdorf inspired and persuaded the best craftsmen and engineers in Swiss watchmaking to work alongside him. He was a brilliant leader who believed that Rolex must continuously strive to think and act differently from the rest. Therein lies its greatest strength, he declared. Wilsdorf insisted that each new watch should be a product of quality. For him, marketing was not just a way to gain sales, but a means of communicating his brand's reputation. Today, Rolex is a private limited company owned by the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, created before Wilsdorf died in 1960. Feel free to attempt this question. Let's take a look at the MART scheme. For knowledge and understanding, you could state what is meant by product orientation, or one way product orientation is important. So you might have stated that the business concentrates on the production process and designing the product, then trying to sell it to the customer. Or perhaps product orientation is important as it reduces the need for a business to carry out market research. For application, 2 references to the case study, you might have put Rolex focuses on quality in marketing. Products made by skilled craftspeople. Rolex has built a global reputation for luxury. So remember, you need 2 references to the case study. And for analysis, when you're considering what the consequences are, this approach is important because customers purchase on the basis of this quality and brand image rather than Rolex adapting to customer needs. Our next question is a supply and demand question. Using the data in extract A, draw a supply and demand diagram to show the possible impact of the change in the price of gold between the 6th of December 2019 and the 5th of January 2020 on the luxury watch market. Now let's take a look at extract A. Over here we can see a graph, and it shows the price of 1 gram of gold on world markets in euros, 6th of December 2019 to the 5th of January 2020. So we can see the price of the euros, and we can see from the 6th of December to the 5th of January 2020, and it states that gold is one of the raw materials used in the manufacture of luxury watches. So what we can see from the 6th of December 2019 to the 5th of January 2020 is that there has been an increase in price. So we can see that clearly on the graph. There's been an increase. Now, if there's been an increase in price of gold and we can see below it states that gold is one of the raw materials used in the manufacture of luxury watches, then that is going to impact on the production of the luxury watches. What we now need to do is recap on the factors affecting demand and the factors affecting supply to determine what curve is going to shift. Is it going to be the demand curve or is it going to be the supply curve? If you do need to refresh your memory on supply and demand curves, then please do watch this video. I will put the link to it in the description box. Just a quick reminder on the factors leading to a change in demand. So if there's a change in population, such as demographics, changes in income, changes in related goods, advertising and branding, fashion, tastes and preferences, external shocks such as hurricanes, for example, floods, or seasonalities, these are factors that lead to a change in demand. And these are factors that lead to a change in supply, introduction of new technology, changes in the cost of production, indirect taxation such as VAT, government subsidies, and external shocks. Now let's go back to our question. We know the factors that lead to a change in demand, and we know the factors that lead to a change in supply. Now what we need to determine is what shift is going to occur. Is it going to occur on the demand curve or is it going to occur on the supply curve? Now, let's just recap. The price of 1 gram of gold on world markets in euros, that's what we can see. We can see that it has increased. We can also see that gold is one of the raw materials used in the manufacture of luxury watches. So if we have a look at the factors leading to a change in demand, it's not going to affect any of these from what we can see in the graph, that the price of gold has increased, which is a raw material in the manufacture of luxury watches. It's not going to affect demand at all. Now, if we look more closely at the factors leading to a change in supply, we can see introduction of new technology. Nope. Changes in the cost of production. Yes, because the price of gold has now increased. So therefore, it's going to be more costly for the suppliers to produce the luxury watches. So let's draw our diagram. And this is what our diagram should look like. The supply curve has shifted to the left. And that's because there's been an increase in the cost of raw materials. And the raw materials in this instance is gold. It's become more expensive. So it's an increased business cost. Therefore, the supply curve has shifted to the left. Thank you for watching this video. The next 2 videos that will appear on the screen are what YouTube thinks you should watch next.